So a lot of this you're going to see students, you're going to see this with your counselors at each high school. You're going to have different lessons planned that you guys will go over for all seniors. Every year you've done this. It's approximately 9 lessons that you guys have to do for your Naviance each year, depending on your grade level. But of course, senior year, is most important as far as the college application process, the requesting transcripts, your service learning hours, you name it, is certainly the place to be. So we want to make sure that we're using this as much as possible and that we're attending any sessions, just like each school has their own thing. This week, Parkside's hosting during flex sessions different senior topics for Naviance. So certainly keep a lookout for those. We're just going to go over some brief topics today, such as the colleges and looking at a SuperMatch. So college SuperMatch, if you go into your Naviance and you select the colleges tab up top, you will see the SuperMatch college search. This is a great tool and it has lots of information. As you can see, when you go in here to start this process, it's all kinds of filters that you can use when you're looking for colleges. So for example, if I wanted to search by state, we'll just say our wonderful Maryland. I'm going to show you what happens when I pull that up. We can also select whether or not you want it in a small town, a large city, multiple locations. You can certainly filter by that as well. Next, you can filter by your academics. Do you want a university that's going to offer master's programs? Do you want something that's going to be doctorates? Do you want an associate's degree? So again, selecting whatever criteria that's going to work for you. And it lets you skip criteria too. So you certainly don't have to fill out every category that they have. So don't overthink that. It's certainly a matter of must-haves versus must be nice to have. And it's going to show you that as well at the end when you're selecting this. You can also look at your acceptance rate. So if you want a school that's going to have a high acceptance rate, you can select that as well. And then it continues on. So even if I was to close that, I can show you guys how it shows, here's my must have, here's nice to have. So maybe I'm not positive about whether or not I want it to be a small town versus a large city. I can move that over to nice to have. So this takes a lot of time, but it's a great way to filter some colleges as you're working on how you want to narrow down your college search, because you certainly want to have it. We ideally like to say under 5 colleges that you're serious about, but it depends. We have many students who have a variety, but you consider application costs and fees. It can certainly add up. So we want to be able to narrow it down to what you specifically want out of school and what you want for your post-secondary education. So for example, once you get your list after you've selected your filters, you can scroll down and it's going to give you a percentage that you see right here. And it gives you a nice Y button. So if you click on this, say, well, why did that match me 86% to Liberty University? And it will actually give you all that information. It'll say why. It'll say, it did match the location, it matched the state, it matched, but maybe it didn't have the doctorate program. It's going to give you all that information and break it down, which I think is great. And as you can also see, it highlights your tuition and fees. It has categories for in-state versus out-of-state. It has GPA. It's loads of information that's very great for you and your family to see as well. So again, this is under your SuperMatch college search, and you can take it down to student life. You can even narrow it down to clubs and activities. So it's as specific as you want it to be, but certainly a tool that's underutilized that we see with a lot of our students. So we want to make sure everyone knows it's available in your Naviance. All right. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and show you what it does look like when you want to request a transcript. So that's a big one that we all have. We know all of our seniors are requesting transcripts. So you go back to your colleges tab up top. You're going to go under the apply to college and manage transcripts. Okay. So when you go in here, you will see, let me move my screen over this way. Okay, and you click on this blue or the pink plus button. So that's, we show colleges I'm applying to, you're going to add it there. That's going to be the same thing for your college application. It's going to ask you what type of transcript you're requesting. So you would select college application. All right. But before I do that, I'm going to add a college that I've applied to. So if you go back to colleges applied to, and let's say I have applied to Salisbury University, again, the pink plus button, you're going to select here and you're going to start typing the name of the school. And as you can see, it will eventually pop up. I'm going to select Salisbury University. It is important to notice on here that you're going to look at the application type as one of the questions. So for example, when you look at your drop-down box, it has early action, which is December 1st deadline, regular decision, which is October 1st. And this is for students that are trying to apply for the spring admission of 2022. Then you have early decision for November 15th and the regular decision for January 15th. So let's just state that we are going to be wanting to attend in the fall of next year. So January 15th is a regular decision application that I submitted online to Salisbury University. All right. Now I heard them mention Common App earlier. This is a question that students have to understand when they're filling this out in their Naviance. There are two ways to apply. So Salisbury University gives you the option of applying through Common App or directly to the institution on the website. So if that's what you utilize, make sure that you put directly to the institution. And I'm going to check the box that I've already submitted my application to SU. I can go ahead and select add and request transcript. Here it's going to ask me my next questions about the transcript. All right, so I've checked that I have added the application. Now I want my counselor to receive the request for transcript. It states what type of transcript are you requesting? This is important. We send transcripts 3 times a year. We send your initial transcript, which is going to be all of your high school, your education up through your junior year. Okay, so that's going to be your initial transcript, which we currently have, and we're sending it in the fall to colleges. All right, then after the first semester grades are posted, we can send the mid-year transcript to your colleges and Naviance. And then of course, once your grades are finalized and completed for the year after graduation, we send your final transcripts to all colleges that you request your transcripts for. The next question has to do with additional materials. They look at the SAT scores and ACT scores. We do not, per our county policies, send any of your scores, your SAT scores or your ACT scores to your colleges. And this is because it has to come from College Board. So students are required to log into their own College Board accounts and have those scores sent to their colleges. All right. Next is going to ask, where do you want this transcript to be sent? So you can type it in there and then it's eventually going to pop up. It's not working for my demo, but then it's going to say request and finished. You will see at the top of your screen, it's going to say confirmation. You've added the college application and you've sent a request for the transcript to be sent to that school. Then your counselor is going to receive notification. Your counselor of record at your school will receive notification that a transcript has been requested to be sent to Salisbury University. All right, and then we can go in and do what we need to do on our side to send all documents required for you. I always encourage students to follow up with your counselor. You know, in this day and age, and right now with COVID and everything, certainly an email. If you shoot an email, is probably the quickest way you can reach your counselors, and that way we can confirm to you if you want to follow up, because I always think that's important to double check. And so that way we can get those. Again, if you go back to the colleges tab at the top, you have so many options on here. One big one that I do want to touch on is the scholarships. Of course, there's a lot of information out there about how to pay for college, the different programs. You're talking grants, loans, FAFSA applications, all that. That's good information. So we just want to remind everybody that in your Naviance is where our county loads all scholarships that we are aware of. So it's a great resource. It takes time. I stress to our students all the time, you have to be able to sit down when you have time to look at this and really put the effort into it, because there's money out there. There's a lot of money that goes unused and unclaimed for scholarships because somebody didn't take the time to find that scholarship and submit the essay or whatever requirement. So we encourage parents to also look at this. If you go under the scholarships and you can look under the local or regional, there are currently, as you can see, 301 scholarships listed in Naviance. With that being said, that's a lot of scholarships. We don't want to have to always go through all those. We certainly can use the filter tabs on this. You can search by 12th grade students only. There's certain scholarships that are required for that. Some over here requirements, they say an essay may be required. You can filter that way. Service learning may be required. You can filter that way. And then there's also need-based versus merit-based. Of course, this is going to be important when you want to do your excuse me, scholarship search and looking through all the different information we have located on our Naviance. If you go ahead and you find a scholarship on here to want to know for more information, you click on that and it's going to give you all the details that you would need, including the contact person, the organization that has the scholarship. I encourage you to look at that, look at the deadlines. That is key for senior year. We have deadlines all the time with the upcoming college application deadlines, scholarship deadlines, transcript deadlines, you name it. It is all about dates and it goes by very quickly. So please make sure you utilize this tab in any free time that you may have. Whether it's flex time and downtime during those flex classes, then certainly utilize the scholarship list and tabs. And if parents have any questions, they can certainly email the students counselor as well. So with that being said, the only other one that I was briefly going to show tonight is simply the how to register for college visits. So most of our visits are going to be online as well with the virtual visits. And for our students, what we want to do is show you how to sign up for that. You simply go to your colleges tab, click on college visits, and you can scroll down and see everything that's scheduled so far. So we certainly, this is an ongoing changing document. We add all the time and make changes as needed. So when I go in here, I can see University of Delaware will be visiting on November 2nd at 9:10 a.m. And you would literally click on the register now. And at the top, you're going to see you there. You're now on the list. Again, you can always cancel your registration at any time. Okay, so I would encourage everyone to go ahead and register for any colleges you may be interested in. And then that way, if you decide later that you want to cancel, you can log back in, do the same thing and hit cancel. And you're unregistered. So these are good opportunities. Most of them, again, will be virtual, and I'll have that link and I'll say right here, it's a virtual visit. And at the time, they are going to release that link so that you guys can access that virtual visit. But there's so much information that's great during these college visits. Certainly, we encourage you to make physical visits when you can, any trips that you can make. And if you see yourself on that campus, that definitely helps in making your decisions and narrowing down your college choices. But for the most part, that is all that I really needed to share, and just tips and using your Naviance. Again, transcripts are absolutely huge. We also look at the letters of recommendation. Oh, that went to an error. I guess my demo didn't like that. But what we'll do is, again, continue to hold services for our seniors to let them know how to walk them through each step of the college application. October also, we have our Maryland College Campaign Week. I know for Parkside, we will be doing ours on October 18th that week. And every day we will have different sign-up groups in the media center to help students to walk them through that and encourage them to apply to at least one college during that time period. But we will also have our financial aid nights and all that good information being posted in the Google Classroom for seniors, as well as on the guidance websites and the county websites. So certainly I would like to open if there's any questions. We can certainly go over that briefly, and I would be happy to answer. Okay, so I see one of the questions was, can we see the data for Wycomico students' admissions and past years in Naviance, so kids can get some feeling about and reach the target schools? That is a great question. I certainly think that's great information. Unfortunately, a lot of that, we have not had a lot of response from the students as far as the follow-up and as far as which colleges they actually ended up attending. So that's something we're in the process of working on and would like to get more feedback as far as after graduation. So we certainly can do that as well, but I would encourage you to reach out to your school's guidance department and they can probably give you more statistics on that individually as well. As far as class rank, we do not, as a county, we don't give out a class rank. We do not rank students. So that is a Wycomico County policy. However, if you are applying to a scholarship that requires a rank, we can do a certain percentage. So it just depends on the situation, but no, we do not rank. All right, do we contact our counselor to find out when college campaign will take place at our school? Absolutely. The contact person at our school at Parkside is Ms. Griffin, but all counselors will be attending that Maryland College Campaign Week on October 18th. And usually most of the other schools do it around the same time. So it should be coming up shortly, and we're doing lots of planning to make sure that's an event for everyone that we'll be happy with. Okay, another question, can you send SAT scores and AP scores through College Board before you apply to that school? I wouldn't recommend that. Certainly you can do that for any of the scores that you have, but then you're sending a lot of information out there to schools without your information already having applied and having a file on record. So I certainly wouldn't encourage that. I would go ahead and do that once you complete the application, but that's just the best practice. Another question from Michelle is, do we just leave class rank blank on the Common App? Yes, certainly leave it blank whenever you're asked that question, but go ahead and if it's a mandatory field, then I would put just a 0 on there and you can follow it with an explanation, but most cases you just want to skip that question. All right, and from Sarah, it's how do parents log into Naviance? There's a parent feature on there. Most of those are not registered. So we encourage you to utilize and access your child's information on Naviance. If that is an issue, certainly reach out to their school counselor and we can discuss that with you personally to make sure that you have access to that and see all the scholarship information, all the college application side of it, the transcripts and everything that you need to, because it's so much information that's great. And we want to make sure you have the same access. All right, so as far as the time, I believe, oh, there's one more question. In the past, some of the colleges have visited high schools and accepted students on the spot. Will they do the same this year? I believe we will be having those on-site admissions, but I can't confirm that. So I know the discussions are holding place right now, but we make sure you reach out to your guidance counselors department and we can certainly follow up with that and let them know. But yes, in the past, we've had SU, Warwick, UMES, and they are great events that we love to have. So I hope that we will be having those as well.
Erica, there's another question. So you should submit the Common App and then request your transcripts to be sent to the colleges of your choice.
Yes. So what you want to do is submit the Common App first, and then once that application has gone through, then request the transcripts and make sure you select in Naviance that you had applied via Common App, because the counselors on our side have to do a lot of reports and there are required documents such as the written evaluation that goes with Common App. So we'll make sure that we follow with that student, that they give us their resumes and all the information we need to complete those reports timely. But yes, as soon as you complete the Common App, that's exactly when I would submit that.
I also know that from the college information night that we held a couple of weeks ago, that JJ from SU was talking about setting dates with doing on-site admissions. So he'll be making his rounds, I'm sure.
Yes, perfect. We certainly would love to do that. The kids love it and we love it as well. Oh, and Warwick will be too. Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Hayden. Oh, here's a good question. Is there assistance for scholarship essays as well as college application essays? I know that recently we have given out information on Parkside about assistance with the college application. I have no doubt that those teachers in our English department would also assist with the scholarships, and I certainly can follow up with them if you send me an email, and I will make sure I put my email here as well. Okay, so Vanessa has a question. When are official transcripts usually available? And how long would it usually take for guidance to send official transcripts? We typically, it depends on your department. We ask for a 2-week deadline. However, we send them very quickly since it's all electronic. As soon as we get the notifications, if we're able to, we send them that day. But again, allowing just for other activities, a 2-week is a good standard practice that I would go with. But our official transcripts are available. Like I said, it goes through your junior year. So they are loaded into our Naviance for all students prior to the start of their senior year. So you guys, as soon as possible, I would start sending those requests in and we will get them sent ASAP. Good question. All right, so it looks like we're about out of time. Again, my email's in the chat. If anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at any point, and I would be happy to help out. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Reagan. Thank you so much for the great information about Naviance.